Joining us now is Adam Sandoval from Adam ScootinAmerica. And the last time I spoke with Adam was about 2015 when he started off travels across the country. And Adam, if people are watching this show, they probably know who you are, but just give us a little background how all of this started for you.
Sure. Well, it started for me just before you and I talked. I started in 2014, and I was going through a horrible time in my life. I was dealing with some personal struggles, and I made this decision just to sell everything I owned. I had a pretty nice corporate job. I quit it. Sold my house, sold my cars, sold multiple motorcycles, got on my Harley Davidson with my dog Scooter, and started riding around the country with a mission to hit every Harley Davidson dealership in the country in a single run. That means one trip. I leave home, I don't come back. But I had sold my home, so there's no home to come back to, right? So that part made it easy. But we rode around the country, raised money for veterans. We started out with the American Legion Legacy Scholarship Fund, raising scholarships for children who lost their parents in active duty. We also did work with many other charities, Wounded Warrior Project, Motorcycle Missions, Kill 22. I've just worked with so many different charities around the country that really are all got the common goal of helping our veterans.
So what is it about veterans causes that makes it so important to you?
I think we live in the best country in the world, man. And you're only allowed to have that if it's protected. And you're only allowed to have that if there's men and women who are willing to do, frankly, what I was not. I didn't ever serve in the military. In my 30s, I really started to regret that. I had friends, coming home, and you just start to get this sense of guilt and what can I do? And that's why I've started giving back to charities. I mean, we live in a country where you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. And there's not every country in the world's like that. And we owe that to the people who protect it every day.
That's pretty interesting because that's another thing that you and I have in common. First of all, I quit my corporate job, but I just did it 5 months ago. You did it like 7 years ago. And same thing. One of the reasons I really support veterans is I regret not having served myself. And it's one of the few regrets I have in my life. I mean, I came from a family where everybody went in the military, and I was the first person to ever go to college, but I didn't stop to think that I could do both. And so I same thing. I spend a lot of time serving them. I'm actually riding with the combat vets tomorrow for their regional group in Northwest Florida. So just tell me a little bit about how that trip was, and how it was with taking Scooter along with you.
So Scooter's a natural, right? So no matter what, Scooter is always he just flowed, man. I had somebody tell me, you hear different people say different things about different dogs, but Scooter's talent, Scooter's ability was to travel well. I mean, he traveled. It didn't matter where we were. We could be in the top of a nightclub in Las Vegas. We could be at a fish camp in Florida. We could be in New York City on the Strip. It didn't matter. Wherever we were, he was comfortable. And he was just always calm and chill, and he was easy to transport. So riding with him was super easy. He was my riding buddy, man. I mean, he rode nearly every mile of that with me. And I say nearly because we ended up doing some real bad winter stuff where it got just too cold. I used to tuck him in my jacket, and then I got heated gear eventually, which was like a huge upgrade for me. And then I'd put the heated gear and I'd put him in my jacket. But then we started riding like Chicago in February, and it was too much. So he started riding on those extreme colds in a car. But dude, he's the best traveling companion ever.
So how long did that trip take to hit all of the dealerships?
Sure. So it was 702 dealers. I think it was like 690 or 80 cities across America. It was 88,000 miles. And I did it in like 20 months, but I did get hit by a car, which put me out for 3 months in the hospital. So, so really I did it quite a bit less than that, but with 3-month injury, total 20 months.
Yeah, now you bring it up. I remember seeing that. That's a good thing that you recovered and everything too.
Yeah.
So that was the first 20 months of what you started, and then just tell everybody where you went after that, because that's a big deal in itself, but the whole thing has blown up way bigger than that in the last since then.
Sure. Well, towards the end of it, I mean, I had gotten really, really broke out there on the road for a while. And when I got hit by that car, I had dropped my health insurance
Hmm.
because it was either drop my health insurance or don't complete this mission. And we were raising all kinds of money for charity. I just didn't have money coming in. And it was after that, about that time is when more and more sponsors started coming in, and it started to become a bit more of a way for me to actually, make a future for myself. So after I hit all the dealers, Harley Davidson asked me to continue riding on their motorcycles and continue to stay out there and make videos. And I said, absolutely. And we negotiated back and forth. We were pretty far apart. I don't think they realized how expensive it is to really live on the road.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting down to where they'd give me some motorcycles in payment. And I went around the country and gave them away to veterans and just rode into towns and handed veterans keys to brand new motorcycles. It was one of the best experiences of my life. So that wrapped up a whole nother year. So now I'm living on the road for 3 or 4 years at that point. I went a total of 5 years on the road without a home. I lived in a bus for a while, and other than that, next to my bike. I lived on the road like that and I say a bus, a school bus. Okay, we're not talking about a real
not
bus, like
tour bus.
No, a school bus, a Bluebird, baby. It was a Bluebird. So we lived in that. I did that for 5 years, almost like that, just traveling, raising money, different causes for veterans. And the whole time my social media just grew. And man, I met a girl, and she wanted me to come off the road. And then I was able to purchase a campground, and just grew fast.
So tell us a little bit more about the campground. That's pretty awesome, and it's also led to a big event that you guys are starting to do every year.
Yeah. The campground is great. It's the K River Campground. It's really centrally located in America. It's kind of right in the middle, which is what I really like about it. I can get to the East Coast or the West Coast in a day. So that makes it easy for me for my travels. And we've got a half mile of river frontage, and so we do canoe and kayak outfitting and river floats and all that stuff. But it's really become quite a motorcycle campground. We've got burnout pits, and we do rallies. But everything I do, no matter, like, I always tell veterans, like, everybody says, thank you for your service to veterans and things like that. And I've really kind of coined my own. I say, thank you for my freedom. And the reason I ask them to say that is because they help us create a country where we can do the things I'm doing, where a guy can be homeless on a motorcycle one day and own a campground hosting motorcycle rallies the next. Like, that is what they fight for. And, so I always try to find a way to give back with anything that I find success in. And the campground is 100% free for veterans, 7 days a week. We've got like 4 RV spots, 2 cabins, 1 fully handicapped, push button open doors and roll-in showers, everything that they need, Hoyers for the bedroom. We've got tent spots and just a whole area that is just free year-round for veterans.
That's awesome. I didn't know that part about it. So that's really cool. And
Yeah.
one of the things you started, I think, this year is the Discover America rally. So, and is that correct? That was the first one?
No, that was the second.
Okay. So tell us about that a little bit.
It's just our biggest rally of the year here at the campground. It's called the Stubborn American. It's always the first weekend of October, and it's just kind of old school motorcycle rally. It's just get down, and a lot of people come out here. I think the first year we had a few thousand, right from the get-go, and it's just turned into a wild party. We thank our veterans, and we listen to music and drink. We have mini bike races, we give away mini bikes for different competitions. We have burnout, drag races and all kinds of stuff. We just have a good old time.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna have to make sure I get there next October.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
you've gotten a lot into dirt bikes lately because of the camp and ATVs and stuff like that. And because obviously you're known for your Harley Davidson, but how fun has that been getting into dirt biking?
Man, I just love it. I tell you, I didn't have a lot of dirt bike experience. You know, I had a mini bike when I was a kid, but aside from that, I mean, I didn't really have dirt bikes as a teenager. Um, so for me, it's a whole new skill set. It's a whole new way to enjoy motorcycles, and I've been absolutely loving it. So we've got an ATV trail system here and a motorcycle trail system here. So I've been just ripping them up and learning a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. I did the Trans-America Trail. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, I did. That's pretty awesome too. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a little bit opposite of most guys. Most people say, yeah, I started out riding dirt bikes when I was a kid. So that's great that you are getting that experience though. And actually, I have 3 boys and a girl, and my girl was the only one who asked for a dirt bike for Christmas. So I got Honda XR 100 and went on her first ride a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to do some more riding this weekend. And actually started a YouTube channel for her called Holly Cat Rides. And so, you know, the first thing I did is jump on it and try to do some wheelies. It's been about 30 years since I did a wheelie on a dirt bike, and it was a lot of fun.
Were you successful? Were you successful?
Oh, I got it up, but it didn't stay up. That sounds wrong, but that's I got the wheelie off the ground, but then right back down. But I'll practice. I'll get better. I'll get my wheelie groove back, and so that's what's so that's. I hope that you know, that starts her off on a love for motorcycles too. Women, as you probably are already aware, are the fastest growing demographic of motorcycle riders. Probably going to keep it from being old dudes with beards like us someday. We need, you know, people to get interested in what we're doing, not just for the hobby, but for all the good
Yeah, I
stuff
think it's
we're
great.
doing. And actually, my sons now, we weren't interested at all. So you're riding, and they're like, yeah, I should ask for dirt bike too. So we investing a little bit more.
Oops.
So the other thing that the other thing that I like to talk about with somebody like you, and like I said, we have a little bit of similarities in this, is that, you know, just my background a little bit is that I was, like I said earlier, I was a TV journalist for 25 years, really successful, again, in the corporate arena like you were. And this is kind of a cutthroat business and moving all over the country all the time. And then just keep running into asshole boss after asshole boss. And I said in May, after COVID and taking care of my people for a year, it's time for me to leave this job. Do I go get another one like this, or I try to take a risk and do this for a living? And thankfully it has worked out, because all, just like you, sponsors coming forward. And I always tell kids that any kid that I can get their ear is to find something you love and make a business out of it yourself instead of working for somebody else. But I was too afraid to do it myself because I had too much responsibility, and then I just did it. So you were much farther along down this road than I am. So what kind of advice do you have for somebody who's thinking about taking a crazy leap like you and I both did?
Well, I mean, it's got to be calculated. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you can, you know, I was prepared to sleep on the ground behind a gas station instead of getting a $40 room, $50 room, $100 room night. You know, you got to be prepared. It's not easy. You know what I mean? And it's longevity. I mean, and you got to, my number one advice to grow on social media is just keep posting. You know, just keep posting, share your life, share what's going on. You know, and that is probably the best advice I can give you.
Cool. What about just like chasing your fears and following, you know, what it is in your heart to do? Obviously, you did that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the struggle of overcoming fear is something that's real for all of us. You know, for me, I felt like when I took that jump, I felt like I didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like I needed to do something for me, and money didn't matter. Security didn't matter. None of that stuff mattered to me. I was single. I was alone. I could do what I wanted to do. I had my dog by my side. I was just like, for me, having something of being worth was more important than any of that stuff. So, and I didn't know the social media game was even, I didn't realize it would turn out like this. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that it would grow even nearly as big as it did, but it did. And I think, you know, consistency is a big deal. And just jumping in, man. I mean, you got to be prepared, Lo. I mean, sometimes it's not right for people to jump in. Sometimes people have more risks than I did. And it's not worth it. You know what I mean? For them to take that risk, they need to ease in. And that's cool too, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. It took me 8 years to do it myself. And I follow motivational guy, Gary Vee, on TikTok. You probably do too. And he basically, you know, had some of the same advice, but like, you know, just make sure you can do it. You have the skills to do it. If you have the personality to be, you know, like you are on camera or whatever it is, because not everybody can do it either. Even on the you know, just everybody thinks they can get in front of a camera and do a TikTok and they don't have to work. But so you planted down roots there in Oklahoma at your campground. You're not living on the road anymore, but obviously you're always on the move. What's next for you and the campground and everything else? What else is going on?
I am doing a lot of traveling this year. I leave tomorrow morning. I'm in Arizona for a week. From there, I go to Mexico for a week. Then I'll be back to my campground. We've got different events and things going on. I've really been working on this motorcycle destinations project. I tried it out in Arkansas, just kind of a test.
Yeah, I saw that.
Trying to combine. One of my biggest struggles traveling, okay, especially before I created a lot of friends from traveling, was I'd get to a city and I wouldn't know where to go to meet other riders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was a big problem for me. And you can get on the internet and you Google it, but let me tell you, the resources that are out there are not vetted in any way. I mean, every Burger King that held a bike night 3 years ago is listed as a biker-friendly establishment.
Yeah.
So you roll into a town, how do you find the bikes? You know, so I'm trying to get the community to come together to start establishing this in a space that'll work. So I think I'm going to probably visit a lot of states and visit a lot of these states' best motorcycle destinations.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect doing that this year. It's not 100%, but it looks like it's going to happen. I'm going to do some more international riding. I'm going to do a ride through the Baja, Mexico, from San Diego all the way down to the tip of the Baja on Enduros, dual sports. And I'm going to invite a bunch of people to join me on it. That's going to be cool coming out. This is all stuff that I haven't released yet. So
cool.
I haven't released any of this yet, so you can't get too many details, but there's some cool stuff coming up.
That's awesome. And you know, you're right, because the way I get my show on the air in these markets is I have sponsors and they're motorcycle injury lawyers, but a lot of those guys are connected to their local community. And just for example, I've been to Knoxville twice, and there's a woman there. She goes by Heels on Wheels with Z's, not F's. And she knows the community great, and she took me through step by step all of the people in Knoxville and all the different places. And I have so much content that it's like 5 half-hour TV shows. And the same thing, went down to Tampa and hooked up with Paul Tuttle Sr. and his people and the Bay Area riders down there. Same thing. There's so much, I don't even have enough time to visit everything and talk to everybody. So it's going to be pretty similar for me too. A lot of traveling once it warms up a little bit. I mean, not that I have to worry about it that much. There's not a lot going on even in the South. But I'll be on a similar journey, and it probably end up at Sturgis in August and all that stuff, which I know you go there pretty much every year, right?
Yeah, sure. Can't miss it. Biggest rally of the year, man. You can't miss Sturgis.
One of the things that I want to do sometime this year is, I got a crew of about 10 or 12 people who ride with me on a lot of these things, is ride from Alabama to Oklahoma and come and do some stuff at your campground. Obviously, we'll try to get to the Stubborn America rally for sure, but I would love to come out there even before that and do a couple of shows out there. And what we do is we'll go out and shoot it, and then, you know, gather all the stuff, and then for a few weeks and mold it into a story, and then put it on TV. And hopefully by then we'll be in a lot more TV markets too.
That'd be rad, man. I would dig that.
Cool.
You just let me know when, and we'll make it happen.
All right, awesome. Well, you gave us a little bit, you spilled a little bit about what you're doing coming this year. But one of the questions I really want to ask you, because you've done thousands of these interviews, what is something that nobody ever asks you about that you really want people to know or you really want to say?
Oh, wow. What a great question. Oh man, that's such a good question, man. I haven't been stumped by a question in a long time.
I'm always trying to look for a scoop. I'm a journalist.
Yeah. Something I wish they would ask that they don't. I just don't have anything for you, man. I don't know. I don't know what I wish they would ask that I want people to know. Yeah, I don't have nothing for you, man. That's a great question. Wow.
That's totally fine. I'm just gonna, one of my tricks is just to sit here and be quiet and let somebody squirm until they just say something. So I try that every time I interview somebody. Sometimes it inspires them to say something, and sometimes it doesn't. That's totally cool.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a good question for sure. I just don't have anything that I wish people knew that I can think of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's the weather like in Oklahoma right now? I saw the chopper guy stop by and it looked like he was pretty warm.
Yeah, I think tomorrow is supposed to be like 55.
Cool, so you're getting some riding in then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good weather, for sure, good weather. Can't complain about that. I like this weather, frankly. I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so I spent my childhood as in really cold weather. So this is like the end of winter or the beginning of winter to me, even when it's the coldest. If daily highs in the 50s, man, it ain't cold to me.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I love it. Yeah.
I went to high school and college in Missouri, and it was 20 degrees when I went to visit for Christmas. So yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. 62 here today, and spent the whole day riding the new 2022 Harleys in the sunshine. So I can't complain about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Well, I really appreciate you taking some time with me. That's really all I have, unless you have anything else you want to talk about. I know you're extremely busy, and I really appreciate it. And this is guys. Thanks again to Adam Sandoval ScootinAmerica, who's still out there doing his thing after all this time. And it's great to talk to you again after it's been 6-7 years since we talked last time. It's a good thing. It's cool that we intersected on the road again.